If magic was real, it would just be a branch of science. Magic would just be another fundamental force or forces. Magic's status as fictional is what makes it magic. I mean, if humans were able to directly manipulate a fundamental force with just their bodies, or with extremely simple and rudimentary tools, the kind that could be made pre-industrial revolution, that would be a fucking huge deal for our development as a species. Though one could argue that the lack of pressure from the environment would hinder our social development. That's basically what hard fantasy explores in every single book / series / universe. It's kinda interesting how some things don't get invented because there is no reason to do so, and how those changes ripple through society. Fables hits this in a major way. Modern tech used to fight magical creatures at one point, like machine guns and sniper rifles against dragons. Lol, the magic wielding baddies are baffled by it. Wasn't there also something like that in Final Fantasy X? I remember something about machines being taboo in place of magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke. I thought of that immediately. I think half of us came here to type that. We all came here to type that. I came to say magic is just science we don't understand, but it basically means the same thing. I took a college level electricity and magnetism course and it basically feels like magic with rules. But in most mediums magic has rules. In Full Metal Alchemists there was equivalent exchange, can't get something from nothing. There was some screwiness, but the fundamentals were still there. In Harry Potter you need to learn how to cast a spell and there are limits to their application and function. In The Last Airbender they could manipulate the forces of nature, but even the Avatar had limits on what they were capable of. Magneto from the comics manipulates things through magnetism. Although his application is basically magic, it has rules in what he can pick up. He can't use his powers to throw plastic and wood around. Magic is typically pretty well structured through its universe. Now ghost movies are some unstructured no rules nonsense. There is no consistency about what a ghost can or can't do, or why it can or can't do it. Even in the shows the ghost hunter shows, they can't keep the reality of what ghosts are or are capable of straight. Many believe this is what makes ghost stories actually scary. If you look into any of Junji Ito's work you start seeing that pretty much everything is nonsense and has no role or is not explained. But this creates a distance between us and the things, making it seem hopeless to even try to combat these things. If something was thoroughly explained it would stop being scary. Watch the episode of Doctor Who called Midnight, Season 4 Episode 10. I think it gets this kind of scary perfect. I'm living in Philly and just sent a message to my mother in LA. My words went to space, bounced from one floating apparatus to another, then descended into my mother's pocket. I'm a wizard. Or a cleric. They get sending too. You poopin'? You only get 25 words, Jester. Use them wisely. Hi. How's it going? So anyway, we've got this thing going on. Apostrophe. Have you read any of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere works? This happens in a number of his books. Once society is advanced enough for scientific advancement, the magic system is studied as part of a scientific discipline, or as a scientific discipline itself. The most notable example are Fabrials from the Stormlight Archive. Mistborn is as good an example. Close bracket. Absolutely. Although the study of allomancy and feruchemy are nearer to is more bundled together with physics than its own discipline like Fabrials. I love hard magic systems. Absolutely. Although the study of allomancy and feruchemy are nearer to is more bundled together with physics than its own discipline like Fabrials. I fucking love how subtly Sanderson ties his magic systems to actual physics. In Stormlight, Bridge 4 is puzzled that a quarter lashing reduces your body weight to half, and in Mistborn Era 2 Wax can start flying faster if he reduces his weight during flight. Both things are awesome Easter eggs if you know a little physics, force vectors and conservation of momentum, respectively. Minor spoilers for Mistborn, The Bands of Mourning. When Curse asks him about whether he flies faster if he reduces his weight in midair, I was like, wait, would he? Cool little Easter eggs is what Cosmere fans live for. It's the nature of the Cosmere. If magic was real, then by definition it wouldn't be magic anymore. Make this a shower thought. probably gets taken down the second you post it. Your post has been removed for breaking rule 1 no UNREGINALT how GHTS and reposted by Gallo Boob 7 seconds later to the tune of 90k karma. You joke, but I'm sat here pretty mad that I posted this thought a couple of years ago and got fucking nothing. Magic actually is real. It's just not magic anymore if you know how it works. Isaac Newton spent most of his life investigating alchemy on his own time. His detailed notes go a long way to scientifically disproving a lot of the magical knowledge from the era and help form some of the early rigorous knowledge of what we call chemistry. He was a pretty smart guy really, until he died trying to turn lead into gold, making him yet another stupid science bee. He's making good points. Magic is real. It's called electricity. Our world is powered on magic and no one gives a shit. Lightning was thought to be the power of the gods. Right now I'm using the power of the gods to get out a message that can be instantly read around the world, all while I'm sitting on my toilet. We have conquered magic. And when it comes down to it, we don't understand why electromagnetism exists. We know all about what it does and how it behaves. But at its core it is still a mystery, as real magic should be. The thing about why questions is that, if you dig deep enough, they eventually turn out to be metaphysical questions, which almost by definition, don't have the kind of answers that science is designed to deliver. It's like when little kids discover they can keep asking why about any topic at all, and they'll have a legitimate question at every step, but they'll eventually reach a point where nobody can give them an answer. It depends what kind of magic. If we are talking about a hard magic system, sure, that's science with another name. If magic was real, but more like soft magic, aka depending on a notion of fate / god's will / plot / fan service to multi-dimensional watchers that make it unpredictable by nature, then there would be multiple failed attempts to treat it as a science, and a lot of religions based around it as an in-between. If magic was real with rules, but was lacking consistency, rules of magic changing from person to person, and with time, with no simple logic behind them, and a lot of hidden info, then it would probably be like psychology, only recently considered as a science, with a lot of we don't know, and a lot of BS and pseudoscience. Exactly. What makes something science or not is the scientific method. So as long as magic had repeatable results that could be tested to understand how it works, we'd be golden. If magic didn't have repeatable results, then we would probably struggle. That's not to say we wouldn't apply science to it, but it probably wouldn't be a science. It would simply be a soft science. That's all. Right. If it was probabilistic, then it would be like sociology or economics or quantum physics. That's kind of off the mark, but your heart is in the right place. Physics is a hard science and uses probability to calculate some of the hard science. But it's a hard science because of our ability to verify results accurately and consistently across various observers and cohorts. Social sciences generally don't allow for the same amount of verifiable evidence, since the experiment changes so much between cohorts and even between cultures there are sampling biases. It's not the use of probability and statistics that makes a science hard or soft. It's in the verifiability of the experiments. I'd probably be struggling to earn a C in magic if chemistry is any kind of comparable. I think chemistry is a good example of the point many have made in this thread. It stops being magic when it works. Alchemy slowly became chemistry as we learned more about the world. They're one and the same. Chemistry comes from Kemet, ancient Egypt. That's the source of our knowledge in magic going back to Thoth. Hell, Newton translated that S and decided to take credit of it with his third law. Science can explain things that we once thought as magic. What if only certain people are able to use it? Like the Harry Potter universe. Social hierarchy would look different. Well, Hoss saying that these billionaires aren't actually utilizing magic already? It is. And it is. By magic, I mean the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. /93. I gave you an upvote, but I do think of science as something like the study of causality and magic as violations of causality. This is an excellent way of putting it. This also allows magic to sidestep the often repeated idea that magic is just science that hasn't been explained yet. When the breaking of causality is witnessed by a non-magician, it is described as magic, or that which cannot be explained with science. But to a magician, magic is the science of breaking causality. I always thought magic was coding, as in computer programming, but using items or particular strings of words instead of ones and zeros. We conjure the spirits of the computer with our spells. Structure and interpretation of computer programs. Full Metal Alchemist Drive. Stone. Nothing we can actually show exits will ever be considered truly supernatural, because if we ever figure it out then it will just be considered natural.